Now we'll be going into the newspaper. And I'll be starting from page review with The Nation. The major headline is the cabinet. Governors in last-minute rush to beat deadline. Sanwo-Olu reappoints some people. Ekweremadu's son and ex-Governor Chime's daughter are also nominated as Enugu's commissioners. Abiodun, Abdurrazak, others are sending lists to their assembly. Nigeria's fuel subsidy removal, hurting Europe's refinery. As a report saying that Labour leaders angry over aborted meeting with federal government. Niger coup, Tinubu to host ECOWAS meeting tomorrow. APC caucus NEC meetings now to hold August 2nd and 3rd. Ministerial slot, PDP to decide Wike's fate on Monday. That's from the acting chairman. And federal government asked ministerial nominees to complete documentation by July 30th. Simon Ekpa, adamant as Kanu orders end to sit at home. They are, like, I think all the stories are in The Nation this morning. So what story are we going to start with?
Yeah, I would like to start with Simon Ekpa, adamant as Kanu orders end to sit at home. So the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has written a letter to Finland-based Simon Ekpa to stop calling for a sit at home in the southeast. And he said when he started this agitation, he wanted to liberate his people and not to put a whole lot of torture on them or impoverish them. However, Simon Ekpa is saying to the Easterners that they should ignore the letter, which he described as fake and a misrepresentation of Kanu. So it feels like a power tussle right now. We don't know who has the control over this agitation anymore.
Wow.
But we do hope that, there's peace can be restored into that region.
We hope for that as well. One of the challenges that, when don't start what you cannot finish. And sometimes things you start on a simple note with a different idea gets hijacked by someone else, and you are now shocked that this is not what I wanted. This was not what I was fighting for. I feel that's the way that probably Nnamdi Kanu is feeling concerning what is going on for the people that he was fighting for, agitating for, are now suffering, business shuts down, dying. Terrible state to be in. I know, Toby, you have a story.
Yes, the story that says shelf strike plan, police caution label. So the police in Lagos have urged the NLC to shelve the planned protest billed to begin on Wednesday, if possible. The Commissioner of Police spoke after meeting with area commanders and divisional police officers yesterday. So we had seen over time that the NLC is planning to go on strike on Wednesday, and the police is saying do not cause a breakdown of law and order in Lagos. And so it's between them agreeing to that and NLC calling off the strike.
And like I said, don't start what can end up being hijacked by someone. There's a lot of agitation within many Nigerians, and creating a platform for what you would plan to be a peaceful protest might end up becoming something you don't want.
Exactly.
Baby lawyer.
All right, so I'm going to be taking that concerning, Ike Ekweremadu's son and Chime's daughter. Making the list for the nomination list as commissioners. And of course, it was being stated that it was a busy day yesterday, as that was the order of the day over there. And I would actually want to say there's a lot of agitation in Enugu at this time concerning this, because these are children of politicians that are known. Of course, we know that Ike Ekweremadu has this issue in the UK at the moment. And definitely you have Sullivan Chime's daughter, who is a former governor as we speak, of course, in Enugu at the time. So there's an uproar concerning it, but we believe that it will be better. I hope.
Honestly, I don't know whether I should celebrate the idea or I should complain about it, but it is a hot topic, and it's something I would like our producers for us to deliberate on.
Definitely.
The fact that we have several children of politicians now occupying political position, some by appointment, some by election.
Yeah.
Yes, they have a right to do it, but in a country where we feel like we are being ruled by a ruling class, we are not a monarchy, but we sort of now have a ruling class that is transgenerational.
Exactly, which is what I would have said, that is it an inheritance?
Is it Oyedile?
Oyedile.
Has Nigeria become Oyedile? Because we have some people that, you know, you put your children into it and you still your elder statesman, quote and unquote. But I was going to take the story about PDP saying that they are going to decide on the fate of Wike. You know, Wike was one of the G5 governors. Later, they changed the name to Integrity Group governors. And now he has a political appointment. His name has been
under
the ministerial list. And so, I'm wondering if PDP wants to take him out or keep him as a PDP member serving within the APC. But he hasn't said he's leaving PDP.
Yeah.
He's a PDP member and he's not up for discussion. So it's a case of we should wait
you should say this. He's a proud card-carrying member
of PDP. And he's like, I want PDP to work, but if they are not working with me, I'm going to work for who I believe in. And so he worked for APC, and APC got into power. He's gotten appointments. It seems like this is a reward for good service. However, the PDP probably are feeling a bit disgruntled about it. And I don't know, constitutionally, they might have something in their constitution, party constitution, that allows them to take him out.
Would he be able to become a minister even if it's still...
Because there are appointments, yes, you can appoint anybody.
It's an appointment. It's under the executive, so of course that's very much possible.
Interesting. Okay, let's see how it unfolds.
Moving on to Saturday Punch. Tinubu to split education, works, housing, other ministries. Plans basic tertiary education, human development, railway ministries. In other news, hotelier ignores pleas to fix fence that crushed my son. That's from a mother. Really touching story. My daughter found joy in modeling after leg amputation. That's from mother. Labour leaders storm out of villa meeting, insist on strike. Governors rush to beat 60-day deadline, request commissioners' confirmation. And singing, dancing, wake up, Falcon spirits ahead of games. That's from Ogbonna. Honestly, we're all feeling we're feeling Falcon at the moment. We're excited about the wins that we are having in that space. But please, tell me you have these human interest stories. Who has the story about the modeling and the hotelier?
The hotelier, I would take that.
The story about the modeling.
Okay.
So for the hotelier, the story is about a woman who actually complained about a certain fence being taken down and then I think injured her child as it stands at this time. But I would just look at it and say, I would hope that we all get to the point where we understand that negligence is a serious issue when it comes to legal matters in Nigeria. We seem to take a lot of things for granted too quickly, and it shouldn't be the case at this time. People's life gets on the line, and this woman has great chance to get justice if she has good lawyers and better legal representation. I am sure it will go well for her. So
it's like when they say, a stitch in time saves 9. When you're told to fix a fence and you do not fix it, then it falls and hurts someone. You would have to pay the price. Let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the Punch, and there's a particular story that Baby Lawyer would retake again about the hotelier and the trader.
All right, so this is about Omotola Atolagbe. I hope I didn't destroy her name. A petty trader and mother of 6 who lost 2 of her children when the fence of a hotel collapsed on her apartment in the Sawo area of Ikorodu, Lagos on the 22nd of July, 2023. And of course, she mentioned that this happened, saying that on Saturday morning, after cooking for my children and helping them to have their baths, I served them right in my shop and asked them to take their food. And when the rain was about to start, 2 of my children, Taya and Ken, apparently they are twins.
Oh my God.
Were done with their food and were with me in the shop. I told them to go inside due to the change in weather. They were all living in the room, and I called my eldest child, Al-Amin, and told him to close the windows and ensure that no one left. I opened the door to the link to my shop and the house, and I realized that the whole house was under a rubble. That's when the fence actually had collapsed into the building.
So she sent the kids to stay away from the rain, and they ended up, and this would have been avoided. It's such a sad story, and honestly, we don't even wish this on somebody's enemy. If you have if you have someone that you call enemy, you were going to tell a story, Toby.
Yes, my daughter found joy modeling after leg amputation, says mother. Esther Olaniran, a 28-year-old mother of an amputee, tells this interviewer about how that her daughter, a 10-year-old daughter, who happens to be her only child, was sent on an errand. She said she actually sent her, she went with her, helped her check the road, and she crossed with her. But as she turned back, a bike came out of a corner and just hit the child.
Oh my God.
And instead of taking them to the hospital, taking the child to the hospital, they took her to a local clinic, all these leg arrangers. So it was after a few days, they now found out that there was a smell coming out and all that. So by that time, they now had to take her to a normal hospital. But by then, it was too late.
Yes, the rupturing was taking place at that point.
I mean, so she recovered, but they had to amputate the leg.
Oh, wow.
And so somehow she found solace in modeling, which is one of the things that I found really consoling about this video. She's an only child first, yes. And so she said...
Why are we taking such... Please, I need a happy story.
You were the one asking for a human angle
story. I need a happy story. It's so sad.
It has a happy end.
So she's not making money from modeling?
Yes, so she had to go on TikTok. She said she didn't... Since they don't know anybody, she went on TikTok, and, you know, she's been having so many followers, and she's actually getting the attention that she didn't have when she had her two legs.
But lesson learned. Please let us go to the hospitals first.
Yes.
I know that people think that, I am one of those that believe that our traditional remedies are very good, that we just haven't invested enough into researching about it. But there are situations that could be avoided, several deaths that could be avoided if people had gone straight to the hospital before then resorting to doing traditional means to help themselves. And then the final part of the story, which is really good, is that in every situation...
Find your blessing in it.
Our handle is Igbinosa Princess 13.
I am going to check her out, actually. I will.
You want to follow?
Igbinosa Princess 13 on TikTok.
All right.
That's good. So I have this political story. Tinubu to split education, works, housing, and other ministries. And, okay. So according to Saturday Punch, the decision to restructure the ministries was in line with the recommendations of the Stephen Oronsaye report on the restructuring of the civil service. So Stephen Oronsaye is was the head of civil service, I think during Jonathan's time. I'm not sure right now, but during the GEJ administration, he was contracted, to, make investigations on how, the civil service...
The reports.
Yeah.
And we've been referring to the reports forever.
Exactly. So unbundle, the ministries. So right now, the Tinubu administration is looking to visit that report again, and it would be adopted. And according to findings, the Federal Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports Development, Agricultural and Rural Development, Solid Minerals, Works and Housing, Power, Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management, and Social Developments are those that are being considered for restructuring. And I am particularly excited about this because it would help, these ministries in faster decision-making, and then we can begin to see, improvements in the economy. Awesome. So they are not overburdened with work. They are delegating and sharing the responsibilities.
Moving on to Saturday Sun. Ministerial nominees, intense lobbying in Kano, Bayelsa, Zamfara, Kogi.
Sorry.
And then we have the news about Tinubu, not yet Nigerian president. That's from Archbishop Onayekon. Yoruba, not Igbo, planned 1966 school. Please, let's go on a break. We'll return shortly. Thanks for staying with us. Anything can happen on live television. We're continuing with the Saturday Sun. And I know, Toby, you had a story about Nonye Soludo and why she's promoting healthy living.
Yes. So Nonye Soludo is the former CBN governor's wife.
And the First Lady?
Governor Charles Soludo and current First Lady. Haha, that's
Imo
nice.
State, yeah.
Correct. So she says that it's so funny because she says she's been giving talks about healthy living over 10 years ago. And she's excited about the awareness now that people have created about healthy living. She talked about the meals she produces, her business, and it was important for her to now begin to receive public interviews about healthy living, considering the fact that, you know, the world is being more aware about the dangers of eating wrongly and keeping fit. So basically, she's all out now to discuss healthy living, and I look forward to seeing her more in the papers because, you know, in the last maybe couple of years, it's been her husband that's just been there, but now that she's also coming into the limelight, it's beautiful and encouraging for people like us to see.
Saturday Vanguard, major, well, I can't even say this is a major headline, but there are many stories that are so in your face. One, of course, is the Niger coup, and the presidential guard names himself the new ruler of Niger. Then the subsidy removal, NLC NEC endorsed August 2nd for nationwide strike. And then, still within the subsidy removal, Nigerians cry out to say that palliatives can't cure our pains. Then divergent views trail Tinubu's ministerial nominees. 28 names fall short of constitutional requirements. That's from someone, an ex-NBA scribe. And this very sad story, I offered my last child for money rituals to train other 9 children. That's from a farmer. Then Ondo farmer bags life imprisonment for defiling neighbor's 6-year-old daughter. And sit at home. Don't antagonize governors. Nnamdi Kanu orders Simon Ekpa. What story are we taking?
Okay, so I think we should take the story about Nigerians, fuel subsidy removal, palliatives can't cure our pains, Nigerians cry out. And of course, citizens, including lawyers, human rights activists, academics, and artisans have faulted the palliative measures put in place by some state government to bolster the consequence of the removal of the fuel subsidy on the people, saying it was a wrong strategy. Some governments announced payment of 10,000 naira monthly for public sector workers, some allowances for medical personnel, and even occasional distribution of food to the poor and most vulnerable households, as well as free bus rides for students of tertiary institutions. In their reaction, a number of the residents insisted that it was a rip-off, while others said the federal government should have put in place a proper plan before getting rid of fuel subsidy.
What story do you have?
I'm just trying to even understand this story. Of the human angle story, I offered my last child for money rituals to train other 9 children. And this is coming from a 50-year-old Beninese farmer, Pony Bada, that left his country home for Nigeria with his unsuspecting 9-year-old son who he intended to use for money rituals. So he said the story says 3 other men, Ige, Koselo, Benjamin, Shegun Shile, accompanied the farmer to a herbalist home in Owode area of Oyo State, where the money ritual was to be carried out. The trio contributed 100,000 naira needed to start the ritual process, with an agreement to have their share of the loot when the ritual is successful and money starts rolling. They're not even sure if it will be successful. You know, and this man actually has 10 children from 3 women, from 3 wives.
And he's a farmer.
And he's a farmer. So he said his inability to take care of his children led him to make that decision.
Was it successful?
It was not successful. They were arrested. And that's why we're having...
We're so glad that happened.
Yes,
I
that's
can't
why we're
even believe somebody
having
would think about that.
confession.
Moving on to the final paper for
sad.
today, Saturday Tribune. More hardship coming, experts warn. Say petrol prices may still go up. Reforms will boost capital inflow. Afenifere says government not sensitive to Nigerians' plight. Petrol black market collapses in Togo and Benin. And I think that's based on the fact that we removed subsidy here. Northern petrol marketers demand 250 billion from federal government are already threatened to go on strike. Man, wife, 2 children. Wife's mother died first day in the new house. Niger coup. ECOWAS leaders to meet tomorrow in Abuja. and NLC leaders to storm out of palliative meeting. NLC leaders storm out of palliative meeting in Aso Rock. So there's another story about kidnappers abduct passengers of mass transit bus in Kogi, and government demolished my house in Abuja. I lost everything and became a beggar in Ibadan. Okay, so I think Saturday papers tend to have a lot of all of this kind of stories that are a bit unusual from what I take on the Monday to Friday time. So what stories are we taking? Obviously, everybody is not happy about what happened in Niger and the fact that it might compromise Nigeria's security.
Yeah,
because
it's just a neighboring country.
For a long time that we've seen relative peace within that area of Nigeria that shares border with Niger. It's been based on the fact that Nigeria had a very good relationship with the president that was taken out. And that process ensured that with the relationship we had with them, Nigerian military, there's like a joint military effort to quell the insecurity challenges within the border area and in Nigeria. The worry now is that without that president and with this new person who has said he's taking over the government, what impact will that have? So I'm looking forward to the ECOWAS leaders meeting and hopefully they're able to resolve the issues within that area.
I think I saw, is it the finance minister crying because, you know, the
leader of the coup actually
asked him to produce or give a report of how the monies have been spent in the country, you know.
There's a bit of corruption, Abi.
Oh, yeah, and the man was crying on TV. I'm like, why are you crying? What's the fear about? If you haven't done anything incriminating.
They seem to have kept their records well before this happened.
Concerning money and all that.
Sadly, that's what we can take on the paper today. And I knew you had a story. If I had known you.
Full story.
We can't take it, but check out the Google story online.